Some episodes of The Proud Family just did not age well to me, but I feel like the one we're going to talk about today actually did. In a different Proud Family video that I did, I talked about how Louder and Prouder has somehow found its way into a very strange side of commentary, which is being criticized for being too woke, and I just hate it so much, but I'll probably talk about that more if I talk about Louder and Prouder. And the original show definitely had its issues, but people criticizing Louder and Prouder for being too woke just were simply not paying attention to the original show, because the Proud Family has always put in an effort to talk about serious topics. Now, it could be hit or miss sometimes, but the episode of the Proud Family that we're going to talk about today, in my opinion, was a hit. We're going to talk about an episode of the Proud Family titled 𝙎𝙪𝙗𝙧𝙀, where Penny and her friends are put in a dangerous situation to potentially be groomed. What's good, guys? It's Alissa. If you're new here, hello. First things first, y'all know I gotta get the promo and the formalities out the way. You guys can find me on TikTok, Instagram. I just made a Blue Sky account. Of course, I have a second channel. You guys can find more content from me on there and subscribe. All that information is in the description box down below. And I just want to say that some of you have noticed that I changed my editing style, because when I was doing my 𝙈𝙪𝙨 videos, I would include more clips and things like that. If you did not know, my channel was recently demonetized for reused content. So I'm trying to steer clear of using copyrighted content as much as possible and explain these episodes to the best of my ability, just using screenshots and a couple of clips here and there. Just wanted to put that out there because I do enjoy my previous editing style, but I ain't trying to be demonetized again, y'all. Also, since I've been back, I have been reaching out to companies, and even some companies have been reaching out to me for some sponsored content. Again, I was demonetized, y'all, so if y'all see me promoting some things on here, just know I'm getting that coin real quick, okay? Sponsored content coming soon. Do not be alarmed. If you want to watch it, you can. Just wanted to let you know. Anyway, all of that stuff out of the way, let's get into it. The episode starts with the girls Penny, 𝙈𝙗𝙪𝙗𝙧𝙀, 𝙬𝙎, and Zoe on the field practicing some choreo. They are putting in work because they want to make it onto 𝙎𝙪𝙗𝙧𝙀, which is the Proud Family equivalent of Soul Train. So hip hop, soul, helicopter, train, y'all get it. They're worried that even with all the effort that they're putting in, they're not going to be able to make it on the show because they're in middle school and 𝙎𝙪𝙗𝙧𝙀 only casts high schoolers. Remember that. So after they're having this conversation, they just got done, they're tired, they're like, we ate, thank you Michael for the choreography. 𝙈𝙤's cousin Bethany pulls up and tells them that they made it onto the show. Bethany is like that cool, older, popular kid. So they're like, oh my God, Bethany has a nice car. Oh my God, it's Bethany. And 𝙈𝙨 is being shady and says that Bethany looks like she comes from the side of the family with money. And I just, of course, don't like all the jabs and stuff that they take at 𝙈𝙤. And 𝙈𝙤 says that, yeah, I'm from the side of the family that has the looks. And of course, I forgot what they said back to her, but it was also something shady.
She's from the other side of the family. You mean the side with the money? So what? I'm from the side with the looks.
Yeah, looks like you ain't got no money.
And when Bethany was introduced, I thought that Raven Simone played Bethany, but it's actually Niecy from One-on-One. And I thought that was interesting because the Proud Family just had these interesting cameos and they really had everybody on there. Like every black celebrity that you could think of or black person that was in popular things that you watched, for some reason they were on the Proud Family. Like they hired everybody. Same thing with the Boondocks, I feel like. So Penny goes home to tell her parents this great news that they made it onto 𝙎𝙪𝙗𝙧𝙀. But when Penny asks to go, her dad Oscar says no because he's seen the show and there will be boys there. If y'all watch the Proud Family, y'all know that Oscar is completely anti-boys. That's literally his #1 rule, is no boys.
Oh, Oscar, you're impossible. Do you know there are boys in church too?
Fine, she can't go there either.
Oscar is talking cash money shit and says that it will be irresponsible for any parent to allow their kids to go to 𝙎𝙪𝙗𝙧𝙀. And also pin that. So when 𝙈𝙨 asks her parents, who are also there, to go, they tell her yes. So of course, with 𝙈𝙨's parents saying yes right in front of Penny, that makes Penny want to go even more because everybody else is going. Of course, as a teen, you should never give in to peer pressure. And Oscar actually tells her that, like, if all your friends jumped off of a bridge, would you do it too? This girl, Penny says,
if it was fun.
I'm like, bruh, What? They got to do something about that because Penny sometimes is very peer pressured to do some things. So it's in this moment that Bethany vouches for Penny, saying that Hip Hop Helicopter is just good, wholesome fun. Please, can she go? I promise I'll watch over them. And so Penny's mom, Trudy, bypasses Oscar's authority and says, you know what, Penny, you can go to Hip Hop Helicopter, have fun, be safe. And I feel like Trudy and Oscar could have vetted Bethany a little bit more in this instance, or not just had them go to Hip Hop Helicopter with just Penny and her friends and Bethany, who's a teenager, to watch over them. I feel like they should have only allowed Penny to go if there was another parent present. Like if they trust 𝙈𝙯𝙪𝙗𝙪𝙗𝙪's parents, which they shouldn't, they should have been like, okay, I trust you to go if 𝙈𝙯𝙪𝙗𝙪's parents are going, or better yet, you can only go if Oscar, Sugar Mama, or me is there, Trudy. Like I feel like they should have vetted Bethany a little bit more, because when they leave, the mood gets a little bit weird when they're riding with Bethany to Hip Hop Helicopter. Bethany kicks the girls out of her car when they're no longer in eye view of Penny's house. Bethany makes the girls have to walk to Hip Hop Helicopter, saying that she has to go pick up her more cool friends, saying that pretty much she's not giving them a ride because they're not worth the ride because they're not cool. Weird. Okay, cloud chaser. So one, let's take this back to the fact that Bethany is the one that told Trudy, Oscar, and 𝙈𝙯𝙪𝙗𝙪's parents, I can't think of her mom's name, that she was gonna be the one watching over them and keeping them safe, but as soon as they get up the street to the stop sign, you're kicking them out the car and telling them they have to walk to Hip Hop Helicopter.
I gotta pick up my real girls. Y'all gotta walk. I'm out.
Penny and her friends should have stopped right there, went back home, and been like, Bethany literally kicked us out of the car and she is not taking us to Hip Hop Helicopter. And I can say that I personally was that friend that my friends would use to be like, oh, Alyssa's gonna be there, to their parents, because I don't know, when I would hang out with my friends, I was like quiet and reserved, so their parents like trusted when I was around. But baby, we was partying. When we left, we was partying. We was up to no good, not doing nothing super crazy, but like nothing that no teenager should have been doing. So my friends would use me as like, hey, Alyssa's gonna be there, we gonna be good, and it would be like, I wouldn't say nothing. Obviously young and dumb, we wasn't doing nothing super crazy, but you just gotta vet the people that your kids are hanging with, because, or you know, just pry a little bit more into your kids' events, because they will use that friend to be like, oh, such and such is gonna be there, but when they get there, they partying. So I personally would never put my friends in a predicament like Bethany had them in. Like I don't get down like that, I don't play like that. But yeah, your friends will use you, or you know, some people probably, you know, remember having that friend that would be like, oh, such and such is gonna be there, mom, please can we go? And they're like, oh, bet. No no. So the girls make it to Hip Hop Helicopter and they perform under the name of LPDZ, 𝙈𝙯𝙪𝙗𝙧, Penny, 𝙈𝙯𝙪, and Zoe. They're called onto the stage and start doing their little dance routine. Hey. At first, they go onto the stage with these big white t-shirts on, but you can see that they have on like these platform sandals underneath. And when they're dancing, they remove their t-shirts and reveal these skin tight outfits. Uh-oh. At the same time, their parents are at a bowling alley having a tournament against like the older people, like the elders, so Sugar Mama and their parents versus, you know, the middle-aged people. They're watching the TV and they can see LPDZ performing and they're like, hey, that's my daughter. Hey, that's our daughters. They take those shirts off and Oscar loses his mind, rightfully so, and completely crossing the line. Some guy calls Penny a hottie right behind Oscar. When I seen that, I was just like, I would be in jail if somebody said that about my daughter. Like, no matter what she got on, I don't give a damn. Do not talk about my daughter like that. She is a teenager.
Dude, that's your daughter? Dude, she's a hottie. What?
So we're back at Hip Hop Helicopter and LPDZ actually wins the competition. In their thank yous, they're thanking Michael for the choreography, and 𝙈𝙯𝙪 thanks all her siblings, which in the show 𝙈𝙯𝙪 has hella siblings, and I was like, relatable. That would literally be me in a competition show being like, thank you this, that, and that, because I got hella siblings. So in this moment, she also thanks Bethany for giving them this opportunity. So after they win the competition, Bethany gives them a ride home. And just being nice and polite because Penny was raised right, she's just like, thank you for taking us home. And y'all know what Bethany says?
Hey, you know I can't let my girls walk home.
And rightfully so. They call her out because they're like, girl, weren't you the one that just made us walk to the competition and you just gave us a ride because we won? So Bethany admits that now that they're popular, they're cool. And she also makes it a point to appoint herself their manager and tells them that they're splitting their profits 50-50. I'm like, are they even making money from this yet? Like, what the hell? And that is exactly how people get screwed in the industry. People just literally start putting their hand in the pot just because they had a little bit of a hand in something, and also because these are kids. So they're like, okay, nobody's managing y'all, let me be the manager and put y'all in these positions. Safe or not, we'll get into that. And also, some people get real weird when money come around. I think we all know those type of people that's just like, if money is in the picture, I can't have you around. Or when we talking about money, they pocket watching, just can't trust those people, and definitely not trust them to be in charge of your finances. So when they get inside Penny's house, she tries to celebrate, and that is not the vibes. Penny immediately gets in trouble for dancing half naked on TV, and her friends also leave because they like, oop, this ain't got nothing to do with me. Oscar says that he's appalled and disgusted at the behaviors that Penny and her friends exhibited on TV. And sometimes Oscar just be doing a little bit too much for me. He be kind of up there with Frank as one of the worst TV dads in my opinion, because there's a way to tell your daughter that her outfit was inappropriate without degrading her.
Why you tripping now?
Because now you look like a tramp.
He tries to prove a point that their dancing was completely inappropriate, that they didn't do all that gyrating back in the day. And before he can even finish his point, Sugar Mama starts listing all the dances they used to do back in the day.
The freak, the grind, the bump, the pump, the shake that rump. Need I go on, Penny? Forget your daddy.
And I'm like, exactly, Sugar Mama, get his ass, because I'm not taking no advice or hearing nothing about what the kids is doing today from the generation that have Freaknik, okay? So in my opinion, Trudy had the better approach to this situation, so she pulls Penny to the side to have a conversation with her in her room. She tells her that she's proud of her and her friends for winning the competition, validating her achievement, but she is disappointed in the outfit that they chose because it's just too revealing for young ladies her age. Penny's reasonings for the outfits is that Zoe's aunt made them, and that's what all the girls their ages are wearing to dance competitions like this. And, you know, not to be quoting Oscar and being on Oscar's side about shit, but if your friends jumped off a cliff, girl, I'm just saying, do not let peer pressure get you in trouble with what your mama and daddy said, okay? You know what your mama and daddy's rules are. Don't let, just because Zoe aunt said, hey, wear these outfits, you know what your mama and daddy said you could wear. Don't have nobody else getting you in trouble, all right? Trudy says that she understands that, but Penny is her child, and that is not an appropriate outfit for her child to wear. Trudy just wants Penny to enjoy her teen years while she can. And in typical teen fashion, Penny responds saying that she's not a baby anymore. But Trudy doesn't want her to grow up so fast, starting with wearing clothes that are not in her age range, and tells her to put the outfit away for a couple years. And I love that Trudy didn't tell her that she couldn't wear this outfit, because there is a time and a place for her to wear stuff like that. And being a grown-up is just always something that teens aspire to do, right? Kids and teens, to be honest. I know y'all remember that whole drunk elephant conversation that was happening earlier in this year. Kids were in Sephora and people were like, what the hell are kids doing in Sephora? Kids want to do all this skincare stuff when they need to be worried about just washing their face. Now, there were kids I remember growing up that actually had, like, you know, hormonal acne and like had really bad acne because that's puberty. So to me, that's okay. But even with people our age, I think that it's a little bit excessive that we're using like anti-aging formulas and stuff like that, because, you know, they say to be preventative is the best way to go, you know, catch it before it, you know, gets worse. But anyway, kids don't need to be using all of that in my opinion. But I remember being a little girl. I used to find it so aspirational. Like, womanhood was so aspirational to me as someone who did grow up pretty masculine. Like, I didn't start getting like feminine until I became an adult, but I used to find womanhood so aspirational. Like, I used to love watching my mom go out and go to the club. I had a young mama. I used to love watching her get dressed, do her makeup, put her heels on, go out to the club. When she leave, I'm planning her makeup. Like, trust and believe, I'm planning her makeup. I got her heels on, me and my siblings walking around the house in her heels, putting on her stuff, planning her makeup. Like, womanhood was just so aspirational. So I understand Penny's perspective of wanting to just do what, you know, the older girls are doing, because I don't know, it's just something so aspirational about like femininity and being a woman, you know, just femininity in general. And I even remember, like, I would go to my granny's house, my great grandmother, she's passed now, but she had this vanity in her bathroom that had like the powder puff. She just had an array of perfumes, and it was just so so, you know, you just felt so grown up sitting there just like playing with the perfumes and playing with the makeup. Like, it was just stuff like that that was just so aspirational to be. And I don't feel like it's anything new. Like, these kids are like doing things differently than how we did it. I think that people are kind of being disingenuous with that conversation. Like, these kids are just growing up way too fast. I think that it just looks differently from how it did when we were growing up. You know, we all have the same timelines. We're all getting fed the same stuff. We're all watching the same YouTubers. We're all watching the same TikTok stars, you know, as far as the beauty community is concerned. So it's like, of course, that stuff is going to be aspirational to young girls that are in high school and sometimes even middle school. So even with the conversation when people are saying like high schoolers, teenagers are wearing lace fronts, like, I don't know, it just makes me feel like I'm going crazy, because I'm like, were teenagers not wanting to get like sew-ins and stuff when we were growing up? Like, that was like one of the things that the girls literally wanted to do. Like, what was that called? Like the Vixen sew-in or something like that. Like, the girls wanted sew-ins when we was growing up. Of course, that's not lace fronts, but like, the girls wanted sew-ins, and I guess some people could see that as like too grown up, but it's like, it's aspirational, you know? This is tangent as hell. But even when people saying like kids are in Sephora, kids shouldn't be in Sephora looking at makeup, this and that, kids will find a way to evade places that they are not supposed to be all the time. There were stores and stuff that literally had rules of being like, kids cannot come in here without parental supervision, because it would get that bad. Like, if you went to the mall or just the local shopping center that was closest to the middle school or the high school, right? I literally remember in high school, there was a Cane's and an In-N-Out that we would always go to after the football games, or just a little hangout spot that she would go out to after school. We were packed in there. What the hell are kids doing hanging out in the parking lot of Raising Cane's and In-N-Out? It's like, go home. Now, it was fun and dandy when I was a teenager. Now, as a grown-up, I'm not going to these places on a Monday night at 3 p.m. because I know the kids are going to be out of school and this is where they're about to be after school. I'm horrified to go where the teenagers are at. Teenagers are horrifying, but that's not anything new. When we were kids, we would go to the mall, we would go into these stores, and yes, it's like, it's annoying because we're kids, we probably in there stealing, but it's like, this is not anything new that's happening today. And I just feel like it's such a disingenuous conversation, because I think that people just be wanting to, I don't know, y'all turn into the old man shaking his fist at the cloud. And it's just like, we were all kids, we were all doing this stuff when we were hanging out with our friends. And of course, as a grown-up, it's like, yeah, you know, don't go nowhere making your parents look bad, don't go nowhere acting rowdy, but that's what kids do. It's just what kids do anyway. All that to say, yes, I'm glad that Penny's mom told her that she had to put that outfit away for another day, because there's a time for you to wear that outfit. And when you become an adult, you might not even be wanting to be wearing no crop top and no mini skirt. That might not even be you when you hit 18 or 25. Like, you might not even be that girl. So I don't even know why you're trying to do it today just because everybody else is doing it, because you don't even be wearing that anyway. You know what I mean? So anyway, back at school, the girls are pretty much famous at this point for, one, being on TV, Hip Hop Helicopter, and also winning the competition. So the boys are flocking to them. Even Zoe, who's like the only white girl at this school in a predominantly like POC school. Zoe is just getting a bunch of attention that she never got before.
I've never had so much attention in my whole life. Now you know how I feel every day. We've got the power, y'all, and I like it. Again, welcome to my world.
Now let's have a chat as well here, right? So the girls are getting a lot of attention from these boys at the school, and I feel like it's a combination of, one, them being popular for winning Hip Hop Helicopter, and two, boys just being weird. I feel like with the combination of the outfits that they wore, their parents were also like, hey, that's probably not something you guys should be wearing at this age. I just feel like the boys were kind of getting the wrong idea, which they shouldn't be. I'm not saying that that's okay. You know, it was just that thing of like, how can I say this? Okay, so I remember in school, just growing up, if there was a girl in high school that somehow guys are just being messy and nasty like they usually are, and word got around that one girl was sexually active or kissed somebody or just did something, guys would just get the completely wrong idea, and this girl would be looked at as like just promiscuous, and guys will start giving her this weird unwanted attention that I'm sure she did not ask for. So that's what I feel like this scenario is kind of like, where it's like all of a sudden the boys are on them like white on rice, and it's just being extremely predatory because they probably see them a certain way now because they don't usually see them wearing outfits like that. Like even as we see them at school right now, they have on their uniforms, they're covered up, you know, and I don't know, it just be weird. And that's the vibes that I got from this scene, because I do feel like this episode was trying to have a bigger conversation. So all that to say, I feel like I'm not too far off, because here's where things get weird. So Bethany pulls up to the school and makes it a point to reiterate to 𝙎𝙪𝙗𝙧 that she's their manager when 𝙎𝙪𝙗𝙧 calls her her cousin. So she invites them to a high school party. Let me also reiterate again, these girls are in middle school. So Bethany invites them to a high school party for her friend Gary, and she wants them to make their first public appearance as LPDZ. But she has 2 rules. Rule number 1 being that she wants them to tell everyone that they're 17 years old. May I reiterate again, these girls are 14 years old, so this completely throws them off. This is a new predicament. They've never been in a situation like this, so Zoe rightfully asks why.
Because who high schoolers don't want to hang out with middle schoolers?
Red flag. Rule number 2 is that she wants them to wear those same outfits again. So I feel like this kind of helps my point that I made earlier, that she knows that those outfits are a little bit too much for girls their age. And again, Trudy's mom even told her, you know, maybe these outfits are something that y'all need to wear at a different time in life, not right now when you girls are 14 years old. So Penny is like, oh, well, girl, I can't go. So Bethany is like, okay, well, if Penny can't go, then y'all all can't go because he invited LPDZ, not LDZ. So in this moment again, Penny is peer pressured into going by her friends. 𝙈𝙪𝙨𝙚𝙧 also says that this is an easy opportunity to go because their parents are going to be out bowling again, and so they're not even going to be home, so they can just sneak out. And then Bethany also suggests that they wear those outfits under their regular clothes, and then when they get to the party, they can switch clothes. Again, this is something that I remember a lot of girls used to do. You know, when your parents didn't allow you to wear booty shorts, so you went to school wearing some other pants, and you get to school in the bathroom and change your clothes. Yeah, then get dress coded. Yeah, crazy times. So LPDZ makes it to the party in their outfits, and they get a loud, warm welcome. And this was just a random funny part with the animation. There was literally repeated characters in this scene, and some of them weren't even on the ground. They were literally floating. So I was just like, what the hell? This is kind of funny. But something that's not funny is how the girls were treated at this party. So things quickly got weird when Gary asked Penny to dance, and he is just being real weird and pushy. He asks if Penny has a boyfriend, and then he puts his arm around her, which makes her and her friends give a collective side eye.
So Pete, you have another letter in your life? You know, a boyfriend. You know, we should start hanging out sometime.
He's looking her up and down, and they really put emphasis on this, and it just makes my freaking skin crawl. And I want this whole conversation of like kids not looking their age to kind of come to a halt, because as someone who is not in their teens anymore, I literally just turned 25 last week. It's literally like when you look at 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, even a 23-year-old as a 25-year-old, it's like, I can tell you are young. Like, I can tell you're young. Now, of course, some people that are older look younger than what they are, but I guarantee you a kid is always going to look like a kid, no matter if they got lashes, makeup on, whatever. And the telltale sign will always be when they open their mouth to speak. Every time. A kid will always look like a kid. I really hate this conversation that like kids look older than what they did because they wearing makeup and like, please, we started wearing makeup at very young ages, but it did not make us look older. And also, I just feel like the makeup that we used to wear is just a little bit more advanced today. Like, of course, it has evolved. We went through some crazy times. We didn't have the proper shades to match our skin tones. Like, we used to look ashy. Like, I didn't start wearing makeup until I was an adult, but like, come on now. The girls are getting the good tutorials. So it's just like, I just feel like we got to get out of the past. We got to get with the times. Okay. Obviously there are things that are appropriate for kids and not appropriate for kids. And I think that's what the conversation should be had. But like, y'all starting to sound like those aunties. Okay. But even boys, I feel like this conversation is always centered around girls, but it's like even boys look like kids. Like, A teenager is going to look like a teenager. A middle schooler is definitely going to look like a middle schooler. Like there's a difference between a high schooler and a middle schooler, and a 14-year-old will look like a 14-year-old. But anyway, Penny lets Gary down easily, and thank God she goes back to her friends. So Penny tells 𝙈𝙯𝙪𝙗𝙧 and 𝙎𝙪𝙗𝙧 that all the guys at this party are whack, and they don't even look you in the eye when they're talking to you. And Lord, here comes Bethany. She comes over upset at them because the guys at the party are saying that they're tripping. And immediately I was like, oh, okay, she's one of them.
What's up with you three? Okay, the guys say you're tripping.
Us? They're the ones tripping. Yeah, all they want to do is, well, I don't know exactly what they want to do, but we're not doing it.
She definitely gives me Ronnie from Players Club vibes. Yeah, she would definitely put you in a predicament to be harmed. And imagine my shock that people be using Bethany as their profile pictures. Yeah, y'all go ahead and take this down after you've watched this episode, after you've watched this video. Please take that girl out of y'all profile pictures. I get it. She's one of the few black characters that we have in animated TV shows, but let's not use her, okay? And rightfully so, Penny, 𝙈𝙯𝙪𝙗𝙧 and 𝙎𝙪𝙗𝙧 strongly disagree with that and say that the guys are the one that's tripping at the party. And even 𝙈𝙯𝙪𝙗𝙧, who, as we seen, was the boy crazy one, doesn't like that these boys didn't even ask her name. So yeah, these boys are whack, not them. And crazy enough, this makes Bethany upset because the girls are not being compliant. Let me also remind you guys that this is 𝙎𝙪𝙗𝙧's cousin. Like, family. She's saying that they need to grow up, and if the boys aren't looking at them, then they have a problem. She says that she wants them to get with the program or go home. Whew, okay. I feel like people like Bethany, this is just a huge problem that is had in an industry like this, with the girls wanting to be in a girl group and be in this entertainment industry. And also, this is a huge problem in regular social situations too. This doesn't just relate to the entertainment industry. I was literally just watching a TikTok where a girl was talking about how she went out with some influencer or somebody on TikTok, and that girl left her across town to go hang out with some boys. Like, they went in 2 separate cars with some boys because she was just like, okay, just going with the flow. Do not ever just go with the flow. I don't know. The girl ended up being in some city that they didn't agree on, then left the girl that was telling the story somewhere, and the influencer girl went home to change her shoes, then went to go pick up the girl that was telling the story. So she left her somewhere stranded, one, to go be with a guy. Like, literally left them to go hang out with guys. If you have a friend or even an acquaintance, like, vet these people who has these tendencies to seek male approval or, you know, leave to go be with a guy, I guarantee you they will put you in a dangerous situation or a dangerous predicament. So please, if anybody has those tendencies and you peep them, do not be in no situation with them like this. They will put you in harm's way. And of course, you can't really control situations too much like that, but if you peep it, just take a huge mental note of that. And I feel like this story is like way too common in Hollywood. I literally just seen a video on Bow Wow talking about how his mom left him in South Central to be with Snoop Dogg at like 6 years old to take his career off, because Bow Wow is not from California. I think he's from Cleveland, Ohio. So literally left her 6-year-old son to be in South Central with Snoop Dogg to take his career off.
Your mother gave you away at 6. Just the way you said that kind of sounded a little. Y'all ever have a conversation about that? Because that's deep.
Nah, I was trying to find something to say instead of making it put like she said, like, go ahead, get the out the house. Yeah. I was trying to find something to say, but
you know, that's gonna be a phone call.
Yeah. I mean, at 6 years old.
Yeah, at 6, I was so like numb to everything. I really didn't.
At 6?
At 6, yeah. I never once. I didn't start. I'd say this. I didn't start missing my mom until like 3 years, maybe like 2 years, I was away from her living in LA. So we would always talk on the phone and whatnot. And it wasn't towards like the ending stretch. Crazy story is, remember I told you I was living with one of Snoop's background singers. We went to South Central one time and she took me. And I wasn't around no kids. So when I went to South Central, of course, me being a kid, I don't know where the fuck I'm at. I'm like, it's houses, it's grass and shit. It's a neighborhood full of kids. I wanna stay with them.
Right.
And then I had to call my mom, like, yo, this is where I really want to stay. I want to stay with them. I ended up moving in with Snoop's background singers' friends. And I remember being in the crib, lived with them for maybe like 1.5 years, loved it. I didn't understand gang culture. I didn't understand none of that shit. And then I remember just calling my mom, like, yo, now I'm ready to go home. Like, shit moving slow. Snoop is out the door damn near. Dre been gone. Like, it's nothing. Like, this is dead. I want to go home, go back to school. it's over.
Right.
Finally got my ticket sent after begging my mom, I'm ready to go. The night that they took me, who I was living with, took me to the airport, when they came back home, they got murdered. So if I would have been in the house waiting one more extra day to get the fuck out of LA to go back to Ohio, I probably would have been about it. It would have never been about it. So, but for my mom, it was like this opportunity of a lifetime. My mom grew up on gangster rap. That's all she played. So it was like, this is it. Like, this could be the thing. And then, of course, my mom met Snoop's background singer. She met Nancy and they spoke and she was like, yo, I got him. Like, don't even worry about it. I got him. You looking for him, T, one flight away, one call, I'm gonna hold it down. But this kid is special. He gonna blow. Snoop want him close. Like, you know what I'm saying? And once my mom was like, all right, y'all gonna take care of my baby, cool. And that was it. I never looked back.
I remember making a TikTok video about this, but anytime I hear situations like this, I think about Prodigy from Mindless Behavior too. I remember they broke up and they would never really say why they broke up or why Prodigy left. And it was always like, you know, he left to go solo, but then his career flopped. But then Prodigy came out and was just like, no, like I had to get out of that situation because it was not good for my mental health. Pretty much a similar situation that happened with Bow Wow, where Prodigy, which was the lead singer of Mindless Behavior, was not originally from Los Angeles, which was where the other three boys, Rock Royal, Princeton, and Ray Ray were from. He was from like the East Coast, Philly or something. And he was left to be taken care of in Los Angeles. They would all stay in a house in Compton by their manager. They were being taken care of by their manager. So pretty much his family entrusted this person to take care of him. And he was talking about how he was being mistreated. He was being like whooped with a belt and punished. And even like Bethany had them do, lie about their age. Like if y'all know, y'all know. Like Mindless Behavior was literally saying that they were younger than what they actually were until like they literally couldn't anymore because it was getting weird. They would just put them in just very strange predicaments, overworking them, just conditions that kids should not have been in. And I'm gonna insert some clips to add more context to this.
My whole family is on the East Coast and I had to fly all the way to the West Coast to do this group. And I stayed with people I didn't even know. I was just trying to learn and know these people at the time. I didn't know nobody. I didn't know none of the managers. They just brought me to the team. And that's when we was living in this house in Compton. We got developed in that house.
No, like, yeah. I see how, like, Prod had to leave. To me, like, everybody, I see the comments, you know, the fans, they're saying, like, what's wrong with Prod? You know,
Yeah.
why he looked depressed. He was never talking in any interviews.
He had to leave.
Why you say that?
He had to do that to get better. Probably, you gotta understand, he came from, I think, Philly. Yeah, he came to LA. No parents, nobody. Just started staying out in LA with us, developing with us. It's just a child ripped away from his family. That's already a lot in itself.
Yeah.
Now you're put in a position to be the lead. Now you have to carry a brand. Though we all carried it together, and the consumer eyes, it's a lead. It's like the Mariante.
Yeah.
So now he just had so much pressure, and he had to learn discipline. We're 13 years old. You know how hard it is to learn discipline.
They ain't never had kids themselves, so they ain't know how to go about
Controlling kids.
Yeah, they ain't know how to go about it. So
it was more as like everybody was
about
friends
things.
and everything. Everybody same age and treated.
If I told things that I had to do in that house, like it, man.
Tell us, man. We want to know. Come on, man.
So I was the one that liked sweets in the group, right? I like candy. I like donuts and stuff. What kid don't?
Yeah.
So it was one time. I'm not gonna say her name, but she made me. She had a big old plate, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with a whole bunch of candy around it, and expected me to eat the whole thing at a young age.
Wow,
but was dead serious.
You had to eat it?
I mean, I wasn't going to.
But why she told you to eat that though?
That was her way of feeling like this is how I'm disciplined.
So you
it was just weird. It was way deeper than that though. It was some. I'm being nice right now. I'm being nice, but that was just a little something. It was a lot going on.
And you don't want to.
We literally had books, like weekly books with new schedules that we had to abide by. Wake up, eat breakfast, stretch, workout. After workout, 3 hours at home school. After 3 hours home school, go to the studio. After studio, do rehearsals. After rehearsal, do another workout. after that workout, then dinner. Then we were like robots. So then we had to learn. After all that, it was like, okay, now you're going on the road. So here go your rules when you go on the road. You can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this. You do this, you do that. But like there would be times where we're literally doing so many interviews that we weren't even getting sleep. And I said we're 14, we're 15 at the time. Let's say we go, let's say New York, right? We take a tour bus to New York. Let's say we get there, let's say 4 a.m.
Yeah.
We literally go in, sleep for an hour, take a shower, get dressed. By 6, 7, we're doing interviews up until like 12. Then we go back to the hotel, shower up again, you know what I mean? Because we need to go to the venue, do a meet and greet. Remember, like, was it FYI? It was like shit like that.
Yeah.
6,000 people, you know what I mean? So now we got to take all these pictures, we got to sign all these autographs. Then after that, we go to the actual show venue, do a show. After the show, we got to do the actual tour meet and greet. Like, bro, it was, our days were long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So, like, the discipline that we had to take on was a lot. But on Prod end, I feel like he had to take on a bit more than us, not because of the league, but like I said, he was tore away from his family as a kid. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. He actually missed, though we all missed our family and shit like that, he missed his a bit more than everybody else. Yeah. And I'm not really going to speak on his behalf, but there was just a lot of shit that he just had to deal with the team and with, when we went to Atlanta. We're staying at R. Kelly's house. Right. And he wanted to do a few tracks for us. And I was so not feeling it at this point. I'm so out of touch with the group. So we go there. And bro, we're in the studio. And R. Kelly's like, y'all gotta hear these songs, man. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm sitting in the studio, I'm not feeling nothing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Ray, you gotta get in the studio to do this. And I'm like, no, I won't. So the whole time, we were there for about a week or two. The whole time I didn't record a lick of music, not a verse, right? And then we went to Miami to record with these other producers. And I'll never forget that too, because we went out there and the situation they had us in was just so trash, bro. I think, like, I'm not even gonna joke, bro. Like, I had a girl come pick me up and I ended up staying with her, like.
Hollywood is so dangerous, and I really hate this pattern of parents leaving their kids in the care of literally people that they do not vet or do not know. Like I said, I wish that Trudy should have been like, okay, well, we could go to Hip Hop Helicopter if I'm going, or Oscar goes, or Sugar. Like, somebody needs to be there, and you know, it's better that it's just the parents that's going, but you know, it's F Drake Bell, because what the fuck. But even with him, where he was talking about right before he took off and went on Drake and Josh, how he was essayed by someone that his parents entrusted to take care of him, but he was literally fearing for his life every time he would go with this person, and his parents simply did not know, because you know, the money is coming in. What Megan say? As long as everybody getting paid, right? Everything will be okay, right? I was so proud of Penny and the girls standing their ground and actually leaving this party, because this situation could have ended way differently. And oh my gosh, this episode just really made me think, because I feel like this is such a huge problem. Y'all, please tell your parents where you are going. And I'm talking to minors when I say that, but even as an adult, tell somebody where you are. I don't care if you're trying to be sneaky or you out sneaky linking. Tell somebody where you are, because anything can happen. Like, I don't care if I'm somewhere I'm not supposed to be, somebody's getting that low, somebody's getting dropped the low, because things happen, okay? So somebody has to know where you are. Like, having little brothers right now, I think that that's so important. Like, I just be thinking about how I was growing up, where it's like, you think you're just being fun and sneaking out and doing things you're not supposed to do, but that is so dangerous. Like, I have a huge age gap between my youngest siblings, so they're in middle school now. I'm grown as hell. I just be wanting to tell them stuff that I'm like, you know, I ain't no spring chicken. I wasn't born yesterday, so I know y'all are somewhere y'all not supposed to be. I get it, but just let me know where y'all are, okay? Because things happen that are not supposed to, especially if you're doing stuff you ain't supposed to be doing. Just let me know where y'all are. Like, I care. I know y'all about to be up to no good, but just let me know where y'all at, all right? And don't get in too much trouble, okay? In this moment, Zoe is the only one that wants to stay because of course she's not used to getting this kind of attention.
Come on, Zoe, we're leaving. No! I love the power! You can't make me give it up! No, Zoe, come on! No! I wanna stay!
But when they make it back home, they're relieved because their parents aren't there, but they realize that their outfits are still in Bethany's car. And also, unfortunately, after they discover this and think they got off scot-free, their parents pull up and they are immediately grounded. They're on Skype or FaceTime with each other on a computer. Did they have this kind of technology back in the day? I was born in the turn of the millennium, so I am not sure. But they're on like FaceTime or something and they're talking about how they are in huge trouble. They're grounded to the end of time and how their parents destroyed the outfit. And they're like, what about you, Zoe? And Zoe is like, no, I still be wearing my outfit. I, in fact, have the outfit on under my clothes right now. And of course, Zoe's aunt is the one that made these outfits. So of course she didn't get in trouble for this. And she probably just got in trouble for just being out when she wasn't supposed to. And I also want to talk about the difference between kind of minority kids and how white kids may have grown up. And I know I don't know too much about white people, but I did go to a predominantly white school. And that was just something like that was kind of the differences that I seen in how we were kind of raised and the stuff that we were allowed to do and the stuff that we weren't allowed to do. So in this instance, Trudy and Oscar are in between strict and lenient. Like I feel like Trudy is lenient vocally, but Trudy don't play. And then Oscar is like all talk, but Penny actually don't be getting in trouble when it comes to Oscar. So Penny is kind of raised with restrictions, but not too many restrictions. Like her parents aren't super strict. So I feel like Penny is not really inclined to have these rebellious phases where she just has to be she's usually put in predicaments to have to learn the hard way, versus Zoe, who probably has never really experienced as much as the girls have. So she's a little bit more inclined to have a rebellious phase. And also when it comes to the outfit that she was allowed to wear, in my opinion, when I was in high school, I used to be like, whoa, like the shorts and like the outfits that the white girls at the school were able to wear, I used to be like, wait, like why are they not being dress coded for having on like these spandex really short shorts, like literally booty shorts, like dance clothes? Like, you know what girls wear like to cheerleading or dance so that they're like more mobile? They would just be wearing that just because and would not get dress coded, versus like if it was a girl of color, like a black girl, if they were wearing something like that, they would immediately get dress coded. So I thought that was very interesting and I peeped that as a kid. But I thought this was such a great episode. I love the conversation that they were having, and it was, you know, they didn't go too much into detail and they tried to say things without saying, but of course this is the Proud Family on Disney Channel. I mean, yeah, on Disney Channel. So they really couldn't get into the nitty-gritty of this conversation, but as people in the industry, I'm sure they know what they know, right? So they're just trying to let us know, hey, kids are usually being put in predicaments that they are not supposed to be in, and the parents need to have a little bit more of a hand on their kids in these situations. So I thought this was a great conversation, but of course I want to hear from you guys. So I have a few questions. What are your thoughts on how Penny's parents handled this situation? How would you have navigated the topics of peer pressure, body image, and the desire for fame if you were in their shoes? And also, what do you think this episode was trying to say about the entertainment industry and the real world challenges faced by young people in pursuit of fame? Let me know down in the comments. Anyway, that's all that I have for you guys. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you would like to keep up with me outside of YouTube, you can follow me on TikTok or Instagram or Blue Sky or my second channel. Make sure you subscribe. All that information, of course, is always in the description box down below, along with any music that I use in my videos. And if you made it to the end of this video, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit the notification bell to stay up to date with posts and uploads from me. But for now, I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Peace.